Hello friends, welcome to Susan and John MathTube. In this video, we're going to learn about asymptotes in polar coordinate system. There are mainly two types of coordinate system. One is our regular Cartesian coordinate system. And in Cartesian coordinate system, every point in the two dimension will be considered as a part of a rectangle. That is why it's called rectangular coordinate system. And the coordinates will be the length and the breadth, or the breadth and the length, depending on the point, depending on the position of the point. Similarly, in the polar coordinate system, we imagine every point is a part of a invisible circle. Like here that rectangle is invisible. Similarly, we imagine every point is a part of a circle and we measure the radius and the angle from the x-axis. Actually, it's not the x-axis. This is called the polar axis, and for convenience, I combined both. And every coordinate will be called as r comma theta. It is kind of like another language. Now, polar equations can be always written in the form r is equal to f of theta or a combination of r and theta. Now, let's learn the procedure step by step. So, the first thing to do is you rearrange the given equation and find the value of 1 by r in terms of theta and call that value to be f of theta. Okay, the best way to learn this technique is we will work out one simple question and learn the technique. Now you can take a pen and a paper and start working along with me. So, question number 1. Find all possible asymptotes of r theta is equal to a. So I told you, like the Cartesian system, for example, if I write an equation like this, I am able to understand this is in the Cartesian system. The same equation in polar coordinate system looks like r is equal to a. It is a different mathematical language. So by looking at this equation, I can understand they have given an equation in the polar coordinate system. Okay, so according to step 1, what we have to do is we have to rearrange. So I'll write r is equal to a divided by theta. Then I'll take reciprocal on both sides. So I'll get 1 by r is equal to theta divided by a. Can you see? I wrote 1 by r in terms of theta and call that value to be f of theta. So here we go. Step number 1 is complete. This is a very simple problem so that we can learn the technique. Now step number 2. So don't forget, we got f of theta is equal to theta divided by a. In step number 2, what we do is we will equate this function to 0, or we will find the values of theta which will balance the equation f of theta is equal to 0. Okay, so I'm going to equate f of theta to 0. So that gives me theta divided by a equal to 0. And clearly I can see that the value which can balance this equation is theta equal to 0. Just cross multiply, it's not a big deal. Now call this particular value or values, because problem to problem it will be different. In some problems you'll get only one value, just like this problem. In some problems, in some questions, you'll get more than one value, maybe 2, maybe 3. Call those values as alpha. So, in this problem, in this question, I have only one value for theta. So, alpha equal to 0. step number 3. Don't forget, f of theta is equal to theta divided by a. This was from step number 1. Alpha equal to 0. This is from step number 2. Now the third step is to differentiate the function that we created. Okay, before we start, what is the derivative of x? I guess you know the value is 1. The differentiation of x is 1 if it is with respect to x. What is the derivative of 2 multiplied by x? What's that? Yeah, that will be 2 multiplied by 1. What is the derivative of x divided by 2? I'm sure that you know the answer is 1 divided by 2 because 2 is a constant. It's in the denominator. We don't care about it. Anyway, the derivative f dash of theta in this question, can you see this is our function? And look at this, we have to differentiate with respect to theta. A is a constant, so the derivative will be 1 by a. So what is step number 3? We differentiate the function that we created in step number 1 with respect to theta, and I got 1 by a. Now my job is to plug in the alpha value into this derivative. Can you see I have to find f dash of alpha? Oh, this, can you see the derivative does not depend on theta? So the value will be 1 by a. That's it. Now the last step, step number 4. In step number 4, we have the direct formula to write the asymptote. So the asymptote is like r sine theta minus, do you still remember we found alpha to be 0 degree or 0 radian is equal to 1 divided by, just now we found the value of the 1 by a. Now simplify till it looks kind of like good. That is r sine theta is equal to a. That's it. 4 steps. Step number 1, rearrange the equation, write 1 by r in terms of theta and give it a name, call that equation to be f of theta. Step number 2, equate the function to 0 and find the value of theta which can balance this equation and name them as alpha. And now you have to understand one thing, the number of asymptotes. Do you still remember asymptotes? We learned Cartesian equation. We learned asymptotes in Cartesian equation. Asymptote is a line which will meet the curve at infinity. They will be so near, but they will never ever meet. Okay, I'll strongly recommend first learn asymptotes in Cartesian coordinate system and then you can watch this video. Anyway, in the polar coordinate system, the number of asymptotes depend on the values of alpha. Anyway, step number 3, find the derivative and plug in alpha. The last step, you have to memorize this equation, r sine theta minus alpha equal to 1 by f dash of alpha. Now one more thing, if you are interested in the proof, you can look at any book or you can simply search in Google about it. But if you are learning engineering or any applied mathematics paper, you don't have to learn the proof because you are an applied mathematician, and as an applied mathematician your job is to understand, okay, there is a concept like this in mathematics and I will be able to apply in my particular subject. Anyway, if you are like really curious, you can just Google it. The proof is available easily. Okay, now let's try another question. Question number 2. Okay, are you still working along with me? Please understand, if you want to score good marks in mathematics, you have to always use pen and paper. Okay, question number 2. Find all possible asymptotes of r is equal to theta plus 1 by theta. Come on. Is it polar or Cartesian? 100% polar, because the equation is not in terms of x and y. The equation is in terms of r and theta. Okay, so let's go for step number 1. That is, we have to find the value of 1 by r. I'll take LCM and I'm going to take reciprocal on both sides. And I'm going to write this stuff as f of theta. So I hope you understood. What is step number 1? Write 1 by r in terms of theta and call it f of theta. Now, do you remember step number 2? In step number 2, we equate this function to 0. That is, theta divided by theta square plus 1 is equal to 0. Cross multiply or use any solving technique that you know. Anyway, I can see that the only value that is possible is theta equal to 0. Remember, in this problem, you got only one answer. In the next problem, maybe we will get 3 answers. Maybe we'll get only 1 answer, maybe 5 answers, maybe 2 answers. Call those values as alpha. So, I got the value of alpha equal to 0 in this particular problem. Now, do you remember step number 3? I think I'll use another color. Okay, what is step number 3? Yeah, we find the derivative. What do we do in step number 3? We find the derivative. So, I'm going to write f dash of theta and apply the quotient rule. Denominator multiplied by derivative of numerator minus numerator multiplied by derivative of denominator, the whole divided by denominator square. And that simplifies to, you can just expand, simplify. I can see this will simplify to 1 minus theta square divided by theta square plus 1 the whole square. By the way, it's not compulsory to simplify because we are going to plug in the alpha value. Because step number 3 means find the derivative at alpha. And that means I have to find the derivative at 0 degree. So I'm going to plug in theta equal to 0. So that gives me 1 minus 0 by 0 plus 1, that will be 1. Now that's it. We are ready for the last step. What is step number 4? Yeah, you have to memorize that equation. R sine theta minus alpha is equal to 1 by derivative value at alpha. That's it. R sine theta minus 0 is equal to 1 by 1. That is, we get the equation r sine theta is equal to 1. If I cross multiply, it becomes r is equal to cosec theta. You can leave it like this or like this as you wish. Okay, anyway, let's go for the next level. That is, we can check the diagram. Okay, this is the question. If you use any graphing software and check what is r is equal to theta plus 1 by theta, you'll see this kind of like spiral. So this is the graph of the curve r is equal to theta plus 1 by theta. Now can you see that red color line? That is exactly our answer. Our answer was r is equal to cosec theta or r sine theta is equal to 1. Can you see? And are you able to see that line, the red color line is becoming an asymptote. If you magnify, I have kept the magnified version. If you magnify, can you see? I just magnified this part. If you magnify it, you will be able to see the red color line. The red color line is our r is equal to cosec theta or r sine theta equal to 1, whatever. Can you see? It is an asymptote. Now let's go for problem number 3. Okay, in problem number 3, I have already kept the graph. So you can write the question. Find all possible asymptotes of r is equal to theta divided by theta minus pi. Okay, what is step number 1? Yeah, find 1 by r. 1 by r means take reciprocal on both sides. And call the value of 1 by r as f of theta. So we get f of theta equal to theta minus pi divided by theta. Now quick. What is step number 2? Yeah, equate the function to 0. So theta minus pi by theta is equal to 0. Solve it. Use any technique, solve it. I'm just cross multiplying, simplifying, etc. etc. I got theta equal to pi. Call this particular value as alpha. What is step number 3? The derivative. So f dash of theta is equal to, apply u by v rule, denominator multiplied by 1 minus numerator multiplied by 1 by theta squared. So that simplifies to f dash of theta is equal to pi divided by theta squared. But we want f dash of alpha, that will be f dash of pi, that will be pi by pi square, that will be 1 by pi. I hope you are working along with me because I am scribbling all the steps, so I want you to work along. I hope you are all working out along with me, because if you watch the video you will understand, but if you watch the video and practice along with me you will get marks. Okay, now the last step. What's the last step? Can you tell me? Okay, the required asymptotes are, but here we got only one value for alpha, so the required asymptote is r sine theta minus alpha. What is alpha? Pi is equal to 1 by derivative value at pi. So just plug in the values. Okay, now we have a little bit trouble. I hope you remember what is sine 180 minus theta. Do you remember? Sine 180 minus theta is sine theta. Now, sine minus theta. What is sine minus theta? That will be minus sine theta. Now look at this. You have to understand the difference between 10 and 7 and 7 and 10 are negative of each other. What is 10 minus 7? 3. What is 7 minus 10? Minus 3. My point is a minus b and b minus a can be equated if you are ready to put a negative. So can you see? Here we have to simplify sine theta minus pi. But in your younger classes, you might have learned sine 180 minus theta, not theta minus 180. But we can write this as sine negative of pi minus theta. And this negative jumps outside. So we get sine pi minus theta, and it simplifies to minus sine theta. Anyway, the simplified version will be minus r sine theta, and this value is 1 by 1 by pi. So we get r is equal to minus pi cosec. Anyway, I have kept the graph over here. So this is the curve. R is equal to theta divided by theta minus pi. Can you see? It's kind of like a spiral. It goes so weird. And this is our answer. This is exactly what we found just now. R sine theta is equal to minus pi, or r equal to minus pi cosec theta. Okay, now let's go for the next question. Question number 4. Now, since you understood the method, it's time to make the question a little bit more tough. So please write, find all possible asymptotes of r cos theta is equal to 2a sin theta. Come on, tell me what is step number 1. Step number 1 is find the value of 1 divided by r. So I'm going to take this cos theta to the other side. Sin by cos is tan theta. I'll take reciprocal on both sides. So I'm going to get 1 by 2a into 1 by tan theta. What's 1 by tan theta? Cot theta. And call it f of theta, 1 by 2a cot theta. Now step number 2, equate the function to 0 and find all possible values of theta. So 1 by 2a cot theta is equal to 0. That gives me cot theta equal to 0, because if you cross multiply or if you multiply both sides by 2a, that 2a will vanish. So we get cos theta by sin theta is equal to 0. So cos theta equal to 0 means we are going to get theta is equal to odd multiples of pi by 2. So you'll get infinite number of values, infinite number of values, infinite number of values. But wait a minute. In a practical question, we will not consider all the values. We will consider only the values which will be between 0 and 360. That means we will consider only the values in one rotation of the circle. So here we go, alpha equal to, now look at this, this is 0 degree. Now if you move anti-clockwise, this will be 90 degree. See, so we have to include 90 degree. This will be 270 degree. We have to include 270 degree. And after that, nothing. So in a practical problem, we don't take the general solution. We will take all possible values between 0 and 360. If you want to write the general value, that's fine. But still, practically, we will take only the values between 0 and 360. So alpha can be pi by 2 or alpha can be pi by 2 and alpha can be 3 pi by 2. So now it looks as if we are going to get two asymptotes. Anyway, I have to clarify one thing before we proceed. What is sine 90 degree minus theta? I hope you remember that it is cos theta. If you don't know, you can note it down. What about sine 270 degree? 270 degree means 3 pi by 2 minus theta. And that will be minus cos theta. Okay, now here I am going to write the asymptotes are. Can you see? I got two values of alpha. So I am going to write, I am expecting two asymptotes. Still I am not sure. R sine theta minus, can you tell me the first value? Pi by 2 is equal to 1 by the derivative value at pi by 2. R sine theta minus 3 pi by 2 is equal to 1 by derivative value at 3 pi by 2. But we jumped step 3. Step 3 is not a big deal. What's the derivative? F dash of theta is equal to 1 by 2a cosec square theta. So f dash of the first value of alpha, that will give me minus 1 by 2a. You can use a calculator or you can use the trigonometric values. F dash of 3 pi by 2, that will also give me minus 1 by 2a. Now if I simplify this, the first one, that gives me minus r cos theta is equal to minus 2a. And the second one is going to give me r cos theta is equal to minus 2a. If I simplify, I'll get the two asymptotes. R cos theta is equal to 2a and r cos theta is equal to minus 2a. I'll show you the graph. In your examination, you don't have to construct graph or anything, but if you see the graph, you'll be able to understand better. So look at this. This is our curve. R cos theta is equal to 2a sin theta. Anyway, when I constructed the graph, I used the value a equal to 1. And can you see asymptote 1, asymptote 2. Okay, let's go for the last question. Okay, please write. Find all possible asymptotes of r is equal to a cosec theta plus b. Come on, tell me what's the first thing to do? Yeah, simplify, find 1 by r. So I'm going to write this as a into 1 by sine theta plus b. Now I'm going to take LCM, a plus b sine theta divided by sine theta. Taking reciprocal, I'll get 1 by r equal to sine theta by a plus b sine theta. So f of theta is equal to sine theta divided by a plus b sine theta. Step number 1 complete. What is step number 2? Okay, equate it to 0, and that means sine theta by a plus b sine theta equal to 0. Cross multiply, so sine theta equal to 0. When will sine theta become 0? 0 degree, 180 degree, 2 pi. So we get infinite number of values. I hope you understood what I told you in the last problem. 0 degree, 180 degree. No. I'm not going to take the same value again. Can you see? I will take all possible values without repetition in one full rotation. So, can you guess the alpha values? Alpha can be 0, alpha can be pi, and I'm going to ignore all the remaining values. Now, this time I'm not skipping step number 3. What is step number 3? Yeah, the derivative. We have to apply u by v rule. So, denominator, derivative of numerator minus numerator, derivative of denominator, the whole divided by a plus b sine theta, the whole square. Now you can distribute cos theta, simplify, we get the derivative as a cos theta divided by a plus b sine theta, the whole square. Now what is the next thing to do? We have to find the derivative value at all possible alpha value. So what is f dash of 0? A cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. Sine 0 is 0. So I will get 1 by a. I'm skipping steps, but don't skip steps in your examination. F dash of pi. Cos pi is minus 1. What is cos pi? Minus 1. So I get minus a divided by sine pi will be 0. A square. So I get minus 1 by a. Now here we go, the last step. The asymptotes are, I expect I'll get two asymptotes. So the asymptotes are r sine theta minus 0 is equal to 1 by a, and r sine theta minus pi is equal to 1 by minus a. Anyway, when I simplify this, the first one becomes r sine theta is equal to a, and the second one also becomes r sine theta equal to a. I was expecting I'll get two asymptotes, but I got only one. Anyway, from the graph, it is like super clear there is only one asymptote. Can you see? This green line is the asymptote and the blue stuff is the curve. So, if you like this video, support us, share this video with your friends, and I'll be back with more videos like this. So, till then, my friends,